Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Landscaping to the Point with me, Scott, and JC. We are now live. Thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Father's Day. It is a beautiful day out here where I'm at. I don't know about you, JC. Is it nice and light and warm and hopefully fuzzy out there for you?
It's very promising. It's going to be a great Father's Day. So I just want to take that moment to wish everybody that's out there listening, all our followers, everybody that listens to the podcast, whether you're listening to it today or tomorrow, nonetheless, happy Father's Day and enjoy the day.
Yes, welcome everybody. Happy Father's Day. I know there's a lot of guys out there. Josh is a good, proud parent. JC's a dog parent. Thank you, JC, for being such a good parent to them dogs. Everybody that has an animal, or even if you have kids, congratulations, dude. You made it another year. So it's amazing. I'm so proud of everybody. Thank you guys for all joining. I don't know much more to say. I mean, it's a good day. We haven't been on in a couple weeks, so there's a lot to probably to talk about. A lot of things have changed, um, but yeah, I mean, it's been very busy last couple weeks for me. I probably bet you have been busy as heck. I mean, you guys been up mowing and all that stuff. I see Josh has been mowing like crazy. He got a big account, so that's congrats to Josh and. He's probably out there right now mowing it. Probably knowing him, that's what he's been doing the last couple of weeks. So
He's probably in bed making his family give him breakfast in bed.
probably, yeah,
Yeah, he's probably expecting the same treatment that a mother would get on Mother's Day. You
that's
know,
probably what he is doing. He's probably sitting there waiting, like, take the dog out, do this, do that, you know. So
No
yeah,
way. He's at the hair salon. He's getting a facial. He's getting his keratin treatment on his hair. Doing all that stuff.
oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, yeah. My wife tried to let me sleep in, and she took care of the dogs for us this morning and the cats, and then I just happened to get up because I could hear her going around doing her thing and trying to do all that stuff. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to get up and help her out. So I helped her finish up. We went out and watered the garden and then just sat around and talked for a little bit. So,
What are the plans for tonight? They're taking you out for steak dinner?
oh man, steak dinner would be good. I wish. I mean, we're just having burgers tonight. I
Awesome.
mean, yeah, so we're gonna have burgers. Her parents are coming over. My dad is actually out of town this weekend, so literally he went out of town a couple days ago. So he's on I think he's in Tennessee again this week. So he'll be in Tennessee. So he decided to take a break from the family this year, and I said, okay, no problem. We'll catch up with you afterwards. So. But yeah, it's what about you? What are you doing with your dad today?
So after we finish up here on the podcast, I'm gonna go down and see him. Probably have a little late coffee with him. He's a very simple guy, but I'm not sure. Whatever he wants to do today is pretty much he gets to choose whatever the plans are going to be. So
Nice.
I think he's just happy to kind of be able to have his kids visit him and stuff like that. So
That's always awesome. That's
yeah.
always awesome. I enjoy it. I mean, I think just spending time with your family is just one of the things that, you get to do on these holidays and, even Mother's Day and Christmas and all that. It's just time to spend with your family and just enjoy your family and how, the listens to the stories that are just some of the stories that you hear. I mean, I hear some of these stories every year and it just amazes me to keep hearing these stories and there's every little bit about it. Something changes every time. There's something new that I learn about these stories, and I enjoy it. So it's a good time. Definitely a good time. But so you had a great topic. You said that you were interested in talking about today. So what's the topic, JC? I want to know this topic.
I want to read it the way I sent it to you, just because
Okay.
I don't want to chop up my words on how I put it. But I guess in the long or short of it is, I quoted it. Can you ruin your business's reputation by quoting jobs purposely high simply because it's a job you don't want?
That's an interesting one. I think you can. I really do because I feel like if you quote a job high, I know I've done this before. Sometimes it's a gamble. Sometimes you get the job, sometimes you don't get the job. But I feel like it also can ruin your reputation because you're saying that I'm high all the time. Like your prices are always high. So do you want to always be high priced or do you want to be where you should be at? I feel like there sometimes is a point where your prices can be higher just because maybe you're overbooked and you have so much work. But I feel like you should keep your prices where they're at and know your numbers and know exactly where your prices should be at all the times. Because let's say if you're doing a mowing job and your normal price is like say $60 and you go ahead and put it out there that this lady next door, let's say she's 3 doors down and you put it at like, oh, she wants a price. Okay. So you put it at like, say $90. Now you're $30 over. That might be good if she says yes. But what if she goes back to the other person and says, hey, he's doing mine for 90. What is he cutting you for? I just wanted to know. And she comes out and says, oh, it's 60. That could ruin your reputation that you're price gouging somebody to get the job. So is it really good to raise that price? I mean, I can see raising just a little bit, but I can't see raising it so high to where you're, that you're like, okay, it's so higher than normal, So, I mean, that's one of the things that it's kind of iffy. But I wouldn't do it myself. I mean, I've done it before, but I'm more of now, if you're going to price a job, price it the way you should be pricing it and let them know if you're totally booked up, say 2 months, say right away, right in the beginning, say, hey, I'm booked up at least 2-3 months before I can get out here just to let you know, but I'm going to give you my price right now. And if you find somebody cheaper, that's good. If not, give me a call. I'm still willing to work with you in a couple months. I think that's one of the things that could work out for you. Everybody knows that you're busy. Springtime, even my regular customers that we have stuff booked for know that we're busy. That know that the spring is just as busy as heck. But they understand that, hey, you're still going to come out and do their job. They know you'll be there when you have to be there. And I think that's one of the positives by telling customers right off the bat, like, hey, I'm this far out. What's your thoughts, JC?
I agree with you. And it's one of those things where it also depends on how big your business is, because if you are getting a lot of requests to quote jobs, then there's going to be more instances and possibilities that you might get negative reviews, or hey, this guy's too expensive, or his quotes are off. Customers talking to each other, just like you mentioned. And that could be something that could possibly put a bad reputation on your business. And then also too, if you are starting off small, it's almost difficult to really try to deny or not take on jobs, because if you're starting new, you're kind of hungry for that work. But at the same time, you have to be conscious and smart about what jobs you do want to take on and how you go about it. With me, it's always going to be just like you said, be honest with them. Try to mitigate that to a sense where both parties win. Hey, for example, I don't want to do this job. It's too much of a hassle for me. I'm just going to be honest with the customer and say, I apologize. I really can't do it. The type of stuff I do, in your properties, it makes it difficult. But, or I don't know. I'm just kind of coming up with an example. But if you have someone else that maybe you could recommend to them, like you were talking about, then maybe that would go easier with that customer, as opposed to, yeah, I don't want to do this job. I'm going to quote them a ridiculous amount. And now you're either, you're making your money. Of course, that's your priority. But most of the time, people aren't gonna take the increased price. They're going to get 2 or 3 different quotes from other companies. So it's depending on how big the project is. So I just think that, I mean, I'm no longer a business owner, but I think if I were in that mentality with the sense that I know, I don't think I would do that. Um, I just don't. I'd rather just be honest and say no, I can't do it. Um, let me see if I could try to find somebody else that could do this, take it on a lot better. Um, and even now, let's say you take the job, and because you're limited in your supplies or your equipment, you don't do a good of a job because your heart's not in it anymore, and you still charge them. Not only are they going to be bitter because you charge them a lot, but they're also maybe prone to complain about the job that you actually did.
Right.
So it's like I don't know. I would avoid it. I would like to hear somebody else that has a counter to that. I mean, obviously, it's very subjective, but I don't know. And maybe it works for other people. I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't, but there are
Right.
guys that have way more experience than I do that could probably speak on that a little better.
Right. And I mean, I think everybody's prices are different too. And I think it depends on certain jobs. Like when it comes to landscaping, it depends on if you're going to bring on a piece of equipment over like a couple guys that are just going to do it by hand. But I think if you explain that in your quote and say, "Hey, I'm going to bring out, a CTX 180 out here, Vermeer, to move everything around," compared to, saying, "I'm going to do this job. I'm just going to scoop it up and it's this price." A lot of customers don't know that. They're thinking you're just going to show up. Some don't think that you're going to show up with equipment. Some don't. And it's one of those things you got to let them know. So, you might be higher on a price because you're bringing out equipment, but if you're letting that customer know and they get a lower price, and then the company that's doing it is like just 3 guys just trying to dig everything out by hand, yeah, it might be cheaper, but is it going to be faster for you? And it's something you got to look at, and especially if you're bidding a price, try to tell them how long it's going to take you. If it's going to be a quick mulch job, say, okay, we're going to be in and out one day. It's a pruning job, putting stone down, okay, 2-3 days tops max. Let the customer know how long it's going to take a job too, if you're going to bid on a job, because sometimes a lot of customers don't realize that how long it's going to take. Especially when it comes to patios. I wish Josh was on here, because patios, I mean, could take months sometimes. And some people think, oh, a patio, they could put the patio down in a day. And there's a lot involved in it. There is. And, there's prep work. There's, all that end work, the cutting, all that stuff.
Weather's an issue.
Yeah. And some people don't realize this. And you got to let them know that, hey, this is our projected end date on this job. If it's just a mulch job, let them know, like, hey, we'll be in out day at the max, but if you got to prep it, let them know. Sometimes you got to go in there and prep beforehand. So let the customer know, especially when you price it out. So
yeah, and I want the viewers to understand the difference to what we're talking about here. It's not about coming up with a quote, a precise quote, like crossing your T's, dotting your I's, like every single cent, every single penny accounted for to get that job done. It's purposely quoting the job more expensive, simply because it's a job that you maybe don't want to take on, or it's just too much of a pain in the ass job for you. So there's nothing wrong with, actually, it's probably encouraged to get everything as precisely as you can, because you don't want to end up losing on a project or a job. And sometimes you have days that you do, but this conversation here is purposely over quoting a customer because of those reasons.
correct. I think it's like nowadays you can tell the customer no, that you don't want that job. I feel like you can go to a job, look at it, and if that's not the job you want, tell them no, I can't do this job. Don't be afraid to tell a customer no, that you don't want this job. Yeah, it's out of respect to go give a quote if you can, But when you get there, if this is something that you don't want to do, it's not in your wheelhouse, let them know and say, hey, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. Or, looking at this job, it's going to take 2 months to do. And I'm already 2 months backed in, and that puts me into, winter, and I'm not going to do that. Let the customer know. So that way they can find somebody else if not. And like you said, definitely have a recommendation. There's enough of us green industry pros out there that you shouldn't be able to know 5-6 people in your area to say, hey, this guy does this. I know there's a lot of companies in this area that we work side by side with each other on certain jobs. If there's a job that we can't do, we'll send it to the next person that we know of. And it's easier for us to do that and help somebody else out if they got the time, than to just say, I don't know who you're going to send it to, but here, I can't do it. It's better to give somebody a recommendation.
Yeah. And also too, like, I think most people or some people are kind of afraid of confrontation. And I don't mean like,
Right.
fighting somebody, but I mean about getting back to people. And sometimes unintentionally, or at least with like some type of good faith, what they do is, they'll kind of give them a white lie. Like they'll say, all right, well, let me just, let me get back. Once I get back to the office, in a couple days, I'll send you a quote, and in that way we could touch base after that. And what some people do is they just never contact that customer back again, and thinking that they avoided the situation. Now you're facing, maybe a bad review from someone like, yeah, we called them, they never got back to us. We called them several times. Now you're not picking up the phone, or you're not responding to the emails on that job, and someone really wants that job done, and for some reason or another, they're gravitating towards your business because maybe a friend recommended them to you. And I'm speaking as a customer, a friend recommended the business to you, and now you feel kind of like, oh, well, if my friend got work from them, I trust my friend, and I'm going to trust the business, and
Right.
And now you're kind of just, as a customer, sometimes you feel like an obligation to stay loyal to that company, and then now you're not reaching out to them anymore, or you quoted them high purposely. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. I think it could go both ways, but it's not something that I think I would do. And I'm not being negative on people that do that, because I don't know, maybe they have different circumstances, and they know a little more when it comes to dealing with stuff like that.
Right. I mean, we just recently, we had a customer that didn't sign up at the beginning of the year. And she is kind of down the street from another one of our customers. She asked me, hey, will you take us back? And at this point, we're booked out on our mowing crew's full. So I said, I'd love to take you back. I said, but I can't, because we're booked out totally on mowing. But I know 2 companies that are in the area. I know the company that actually mows you next door to you, and I know another one that mows down the street also. I said, so I'm going to give them both your names, and, have you, here's their numbers. Here's the 2 people that you need to talk to at each company. Call them, ask them, tell them that I called, but I'll call them ahead of time, let them know that you're looking for a company, and then we can go from there, and she's like, thank you for letting me know, that's appreciated that you did that, and if you ever in the future, have room for us, let us know, and we'll come back to you. It's one of those things. You're letting that customer know, even if, like you said, even if you can't do the job, let them know. Like, be responsible, answer the phone call them back, say, hey, I'm booked out. Sorry, I can't take no jobs. It's like you said, somebody could be recommending you. You never know. So you have to say, hey, I can take it, or I can't take it, or hey, I'm sorry, I'm so booked, I can't do this. Maybe down the future. It's one of those things. I think a lot of people get recommendations, and a lot of people don't tell you when they call and say, hey, so and so told me to call you, and that's where they get you sometimes. So you got to come back and at least call them back. What does it take? A couple minutes to call somebody back?
Yeah, I'm laughing because it's almost like I always try to relate situations to like real life experiences, and well, not my personal experiences, but it's like the cliche way to properly break up with someone. It's not you, it's me, you know?
Right.
And like that's easier said than done. Like people don't do those things, but it's like you try to like end that relationship as kindly as possible so that uh it doesn't give you any future consequences. But just like there are crazy girlfriends, you're gonna have crazy customers, and they're gonna
Oh,
say what they're gonna say.
oh yeah, yeah.
Just want to be on the record. I'm not talking about personal experiences. Maybe I am.
Sure, Tracy. So yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with telling a customer no. I mean, I really don't. Or telling them that you're booked up and here's my price no matter what. So so what else? What else can we talk about? Oh, we were talking about earlier about what's the perfect mower. I know Josh had gotten a 61 inch. Wish he was on here. But I feel like the perfect mower for a lot of jobs is a 48. What's your thoughts, JC?
Yeah, I know it's kind of unfair that that I'm agreeing to you so quickly because we did have an off-air conversation about this. But yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. I think if you're looking for a mower to be versatile with many different types of jobs and even transport, the 48 is probably the best choice in my opinion. Again, people have different opinions, but in my opinion, I think the 48 inch is probably the most ideal type of mower.
I think, yeah, I think it is because I think nowadays especially with like ramp rack where they're trying to push,
Mm.
the racks, I'm starting to see a lot more in our area. And I think that's a positive because a 48 can fit into a back of the bed of a truck. A 52 is really tight, but you're not going to get a 61 inch in the back of your truck, and if you want to reduce and not have a trailer, why not go with a 48? I mean, you're going to get into a lot of bigger areas still. You're going to have great maneuverability. You're going to have that good room for wherever you need to have it. A lot of gates now are bigger, a little bit bigger. So a lot of people are starting to realize that gates need to be bigger. I always like enjoying. I was talking to another person yesterday that actually was thinking about putting up a fence, and they wanted to know the exact size of what they should put in. So that's always good if your customer's calling you and asking you what size gate to put in. I mean, if they're actually going out and just putting in a fence and not even thinking about you, I'm sorry to hear that. It's one of the things. Hopefully you catch them before they put up the gate and say, "Hey, can you put in a bigger gate for me?"
Here's an idea: fence armor. I haven't heard of fence armor in a long time, but I know they're out there. And if you're listening, they need to come up with a gate extension kit so that customers could like have this installed, or landscapers could install it in creating that gate. Maybe
A little
like
bit, yeah.
a longer hinge or something, or another access point.
That would be good, actually. Yeah, we'll have to ask Fence Armor to work on that because that would be something new.
Yeah.
They're always Fence Armors are good friends of ours. They're out of Canada, but they do a lot of stuff in the United States. So if you're looking for any type of fence stuff, they do stuff around the bottom of the fence to keep it to where that pole is going to last for a lot longer. Or they have stuff that goes around mailboxes too to keep it from destroying mailboxes. And I think it's a great add-on to your service if you're looking to add anything to your service. That's one thing that can be added on real easy, fast, and simple, and protect the fence for a customer. So yeah. I think especially bigger mowers are good, especially if you got wide open areas, a lot of wide open areas, but then you're carrying around a trailer. There's more, I would say there's more liability with carrying around a trailer, because you never know. I mean, trailer tires go, make sure you're always locked in. I mean, that's one of the things that's, you never know, but
what
yeah,
about,
I think 48
quality of cut too.
yeah. I think it, on an uneven area, a 48 is going to give it a little bit more better cut than a 61, because a 61 is going to cut all weird. So definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So what else is going on? Let's see here, guys. Yes. Yep. We talked about Father's Day. We talked about customers and taking jobs and making sure that we're not going overbid on everything, and mowers. So, JC, if you could have one special dinner today, what would it be?
Oh man, I got a sore throat, and I'm the biggest baby when I feel bad. But if I did not, I'd have to go with steak. You know,
Steak?
steak. Yeah, that, or I mean, it has to be top notch though, like a really really good chicken parm dinner.
That sounds good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just the good chicken, the pasta, the garlic bread, the whole spread. Whole
Yeah.
spread, like that.
Salad with Italian
Yeah,
dressing?
yeah,
Yeah.
salad too, yeah, I eat with the bread and the oil, and just, I mean, you got to go all out, and a dessert too. I don't know.
What kind of dessert would you go with? That's the question.
Man, yeah. I like, man, I'm a big fan of like anything like apple,
Okay.
or I don't do well with ice cream because it's dairy, but I still like it. So maybe like a hot fudge brownie sundae or something like that for dessert.
Ooh, see?
Extra whipped cream.
That
You
sounds
know,
good. See?
yeah, yeah, yeah. If I was a father, that's what I'd ask for today.
Yeah. You are a father. You're a dog
Yeah.
dad.
Well, this he can't buy for me, so.
I know.
Cards out there from your cat.
Yeah, you could have bought yourself a card from your dog. See,
Yeah.
and have him put his paw print on it. See,
Yeah.
At the store from your dog.
Yeah, see? You could do it. You still can, JC. There's plenty of time.
Yeah. So in the comments for those who are listening, or maybe in the future on YouTube, where's your favorite place to go for Father's Day, or what is your favorite place to go for chicken parm? Like, I want to hear some like locations.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I'd like to know what you guys love to have on Father's Day, dinner wise. Everybody's different. Like you said, some people love steak. So, steak's good. How would you prepare it? How do you like it prepared? Do you like to just, some people like to cook their own food on Father's Day. Some don't, depends. I don't mind cooking, on the grill for today. We're having burgers. I have leftover brats, but we're going to have pasta salad. We're going to have Jello jigglers. We're going to have salad. We're going to have all kinds of different stuff. So I always love to prepare food. So that's one of the things I think it depends on what you want to do.
I got to go ribeye.
Ribeye?
Ribeye steak. I'm a medium kind of guy. Not, I wouldn't say medium rare, but kind of just in that happy medium. Not too fine. Not too well done, I should say.
Yeah.
Seasoned slightly, because I don't like over seasoning a steak where you lose the taste of the actual steak. Like a little hint of rosemary, some butter right on it, man. Nicely seared, all around, like the front, back, and then the sides. Like,
Right.
yeah. I don't know. I'm always a steak and broccoli kind of guy. I like the broccoli. Yeah.
I like steak and mushrooms. Mushrooms on top of a steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good.
I'm not a fan of mushrooms, except it's weird. On a pizza, I'll eat it like slightly. Like it's a little different on pizza. But do you remember? I don't know if you guys have TGI Fridays around where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they used to have the Jack Daniel's steak. Now the steak wasn't all that great.
Right.
The Jack Daniel's glaze that they used was really good.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
And I loved ordering that whenever I would go to the TGI Fridays. There's only one that I know of, and I haven't been there in God knows how long.
Is it still there? That's the thing.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I don't even know if they have that on the menu anymore. I kind of want to look that up.
I don't know. That's interesting. That would be interesting. I don't know either. I mean, I like my steak medium. I mean, I don't like it burnt. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't like a lot of my stuff burnt. I mean, I can't eat burnt pizza. I can't eat burnt steak. My wife's over here laughing because she likes it burnt.
She likes it well done.
She calls it well done. So,
how do you chew it though? Because it doesn't break up.
I don't know. It's hard. It's crunchy. I'll tell you that much. I can't have my stuff well done. I got to have it medium. I don't care if it's a little moving. I'm fine with that, but it's got to be medium. I'm same way with like pizza.
So let me ask you this:
like
where is the best place you go for a steak?
Oh, I mean, I like to cook it myself, but if I had to go somewhere, I'd say there's a place called J. Alexander's around us. JC lost us. But J. Alexander's is a steak place and kind of like an expensive restaurant. So that's where we go for steak. So, well, let's see. JC dropped out. I don't know if his computer went out or what. So we're going to give it a second and hopefully he lost his connection. No problem. So, but yeah, I think it depends on what you guys like and, where you like to go to eat steak. I'd like to know who likes what kind of steak, where they like to go. Like JC likes TGI Fridays. I like J. Alexander's or cooking it myself. I'm more of a guy that likes it seasoned just perfectly with like some barbecue seasoning on it or like some spicy, I guess there's a spicy Monterey steak seasoning, and I like that. So that's kind of what I like. So, but yeah, I mean, everybody likes their steak differently. Like he said, chicken parm is perfect. We'd like to know exactly what you guys like and what you like on it. So what else, guys? I mean, it is Father's Day. Josh says he's just getting up. He had work last night. So, wow. Josh is a busy guy. So you get to sleep in today. So that's awesome. It is Father's Day, yes. What did you guys get to do this morning for Father's Day? Have you guys gotten breakfast in bed? I'd like to know what else have you guys done so far? I know it's 9:30 my time. Sometimes some places you're just waking up. So welcome. Thank you guys for waking up. But tell us what you guys have. I'm going to post this up on Instagram and all kinds of stuff. So I'd love to know what you guys like for Father's Day or what your Father's Day is going on. So here we go. We got JC back.
All right. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
JC.
I don't know what happened. I think it was Josh working the background scenes and kind of messing it up on me on purpose.
I think so. He said he was just getting up. His wife's letting him sleep in a lot lately. So
yeah.
That's a good thing.
So I was asking, well, your wife you were saying your wife likes it burnt, but
yes.
But you know what I'm interested in? Like, I'll ask two questions. One, where's your favorite place to go for a steak? And then two, where's the best place to go in Kentucky or Louisville that's not a tourist place and has a good steak? Like, I want to hear from people that live down there that could recommend some good spots.
I would like to know too. I mean, being that we go down to Kentucky to the Quip, I would love to know exactly what kind of stuff is down there that is good to eat. I mean, we always get barbecue down that way. But steak, I mean, the steak would be perfect. I'd be interested on that one. So I'd like to hear more about that from everybody. Like I was telling everybody, when you got kicked off, we like this place called J. Alexander's. It's kind of like a high-end place. Their steaks are cooked perfectly to where you say, and it's just good. It's just expensive. And you get like literally when you get meal, you get potatoes with your steak, pretty much a lot of the meals because it's mostly steak. And They have like you get a salad right away. You get a nice big salad. Then you get steak, potatoes, and I think there's like some kind of vegetable too that you get, like steamed vegetable. So, but you can have potatoes both ways, and that's one thing I think a lot of people when they eat their steak get a lot of baked potatoes. I don't know if you have like a baked potato or steamed vegetables with yours, but I like mashed potatoes. My wife likes baked potatoes, so there's a little bit of difference. When you go to this place, you get to pick which way you want, and I think that's one positive. When you go places, is what do they serve with it? Do they serve that steak with it? Do they, with the steak, what potatoes do they put with it? I know there's some places like I think it's Chili's or something where you can get French fries with your steak. So I mean, you never know. I mean, some people are different on what they like with their steak. I mean, I like mashed potatoes. I don't know. Do you like baked potato or mashed potatoes?
I have to go with mashed potatoes on the steak, but I do like twice baked potatoes, which are good too. Yeah, man. Now let me ask you this: what do you order to drink with a steak? That's an important pairing.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't know. I'm not into drinking much anymore, so I would say a water probably for me, just so I can absorb the taste of the steak. And it's not nothing else is overpowering it. But back when I would drink, I would say a nice beer, like a good beer. Just something that I'm gonna enjoy to counter that. Some people like whiskey with it, some people like wine with their steak. I'd be interested in find out who likes what. But yeah, what do you like with your steak? That's the question.
If it's casual steak, I'll go with a Coke. I think Coke goes with it. I don't know. That's the reason why they sell it in every single fast food place. But and I'm not a wine guy by any means, but if I go to a fancy place, which is very rare in my life, for a steak, I will get a red wine. Yeah, a red wine.
Do you like any other kinds of wines with it, or just have you tried like white with it?
Not with steak. I've had white wine before, and that's like a little more refreshing. But there's something about the red wine, like the grape or it kind of coats you a little bit, and I don't know. It's just
right.
It's good. Maybe I'll try it next time I go out there. I'll do a white wine, but I don't know anything about wine. I just know like I'll get like a red wine and that's it. But
yeah, I'm not a wine guy either. I mean, I know we have Mel that joined on a little bit a while ago, but she's a big wine expert and she likes different types of wine. I don't like wine, so
she's not fooling anybody. She goes to Aldi and gets the boxed wine.
Yes, he does. But there's nothing wrong with it. I think certain people like certain wines. I mean, there's a lot of my family like Boone's Farm. I mean, which is really cheap wine. And Arbor Mist. So I mean, that's everybody has their tastes, and I think it's what kind of wine you like. Some people like to drink it all the time. Even Don watched us a little bit ago. Don from Canada, he likes wine too. So I mean, I don't know. I'm different about it. So
you know what I actually like, and I don't buy it for myself, or I don't constantly drink it, but I like the taste of it. Just champagne.
Ooh.
Like when you're at a wedding and they do the first toast and everybody gets a free glass of champagne, like that. I like that. It tastes good.
Yeah. See, have you had a mimosa, champagne and orange juice?
I have not.
That's good. No, that's really good. I'll take that over regular champagne any day. But I think anything with orange juice for me is good. So I don't know. I love orange juice. So yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm gonna want a steak.
Yeah. Exotic Lawn Striping 412 said, "What's going on, guys? Not much. We just been talking about mowers and customers. If you had a customer call you and you try to price gouge a customer, and then we were just talking about steak and dinners. So good morning and happy Father's Day to you guys."
So Trent from Punchy asked a fertilizing question. Does a 10-10-10 fertilizer work good in a sandy soil? And I'd like to answer that, and then Scott, if you want to put your
Yeah.
input too, just because you're also an experienced fertilizer applicator. Did I say that correctly? I don't know.
Yeah. Applicator.
I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter what type of fertilizer you're using in sandy soil, you're going to have difficulties with it because no matter what, the sandy soil is going to drain a lot quicker. And so whether it's 10-10-10, 18-04, 19-19-19, triple 19, whatever you're using that thrown down as granular on a sandy soil is going to be less effective because it's going to be draining a lot quickly. So it's to answer your question, it's not particular that one fertilizer analysis is going to be better than the other in that type of soil. They're all going to drain, especially if it's a slow release fertilizer. It's going to go right through it. So your recommendation for that is to possibly try to add some topsoil or some richer soil on top of that to kind of combat the sand that you have. And different regions have different types of sand, soil types. But if you're talking like excess sand, then you're going to want to go ahead and apply some topsoil to that and try to get that mixed in to kind of help reserve the intake of those fertilizers.
I agree with you, but I feel like you need to take a soil sample to find out exactly if you have any loam or topsoil in your ground. And how deep it is, because you might have a top surface of sand, or you could have it totally full of sand. And I think, like you said, without taking that soil sample, you don't know exactly what you got. And you could be just pushing fertilizer over it like crazy, and it's like you said, it's not going to work out as best as if you have a mixture of topsoil and sand, or pretty much all topsoil. And it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to make it a full lawn, take that soil sample first, and then bring it back, bring in some topsoil if you have to, and then reseed everything. That's the best thing to do. If it's all sand, you're going to have to do that. If not, if you got a good mixture, you could try to boost, some of the potassium and all that stuff, depending on what your soil sample comes back. But I would do, take it, see how deep it is, then, make an analysis format, and then go from there. But it's one of those things that, like you said, any type of fertilizer is in sandy soil is not going to work. I mean, you could have 4600 and it's not going to boost that color for the winter. It's not going to boost anything. 10-10-10 is a really good fertilizer if you're starting out, like if you're trying to get starter fertilizer to grow, but I don't think you're going to get that best out of it unless you figure out exactly what you got to go from on that too. So
yeah, if you got a hole in your cup, you got to plug the hole before you fill it.
Correct. Or you just drink it all real quick and be done. Exotic Lawn asks, what kind of mowers do we use? I use personally Gravely and Aaron's. I've been on the Gravely and Aaron's kick for probably over 10 years now. I have tried, he runs Skag, he said. I've run Skag before. I've run Bobcat. I've run Husqvarna. I've run John Deere. I've run pretty much most of all the brands. I've ran Bright, I mean, Bad Boy. I've tested all of them. I prefer Gravely only because I got a good dealer by me, and pretty much I can get parts real quick. I think that's one of the reasons why I like Gravely. Plus, I know exactly what parts that need to go down on a regular basis. And I feel like they're more heavier dutier than a lot of the other ones. JC, I know you're out of the business now, but what do you prefer? You had a Gravely, correct? From Josh. Which do you prefer?
Well, I had the original one I bought, which was a 52-inch Gravely, and I now have the one that Josh kindly gifted me a couple years back. that's a 60-inch Gravely. So same thing with Scott. It's really comes down to your area dealership. I know it might have been there longer than I thought, but there's a place not too far from my house now that starts. Well, I don't know when they started, but recently I just learned that they have Skag, and I've seen a few around my way. There's a lot. It's usually get the Skags, the Gravely's, and you're seeing more right mowers out there. But those are like the big three for our area in Massachusetts. But I like Gravely. I had no issues with them. Great cut, works out for what I need.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's pretty much around us, we have almost every dealer except for Ferris. And I think it's like you got to go to the dealer. We used to have one dealer that used to switch back and forth for the longest time. They kept one brand, and it was Toro, but then they kind of switched back and forth between other mower companies. And I always felt like if you went in there on a certain week or year, you might have bought a Skag from them 2 years ago, and then you go in there and here's a right, and you're like, what, where did that go? And then you're now thinking, what do I do at that point? So a lot of dealers now are sticking to the same stuff. And I think it's better that way, because then you know exactly that you're going to have that support from that dealer compared to anywhere else. And I feel like you need to go in and test it if they will let you demo. I know somebody had talked to me about demoing, and I said, go demo a mower, go to the dealership and ask them to demo. And they're real close to me. So they went to their Toro dealer and asked them to demo a Toro because they run a lot of Toros. And the dealer's like, well, just take it out in a yard and mow with it and then come back. And I said, well, that kind of sucks, because the place that I deal with lets us take a mower out for a couple days, demo it, and then let us know if, we'll ask us, hey, do you want to buy it? We'll give you a good deal on it. If not, then, it's no big deal. And he's like, no, he wouldn't even let me take it off the property. And I said, yeah, that sucks, dude. Especially if you've been buying there for years, and all you get is like a 15-minute cut out of it. And you're like, okay, that's it. Like, I feel like demoing, demoing at Equip is cool. But if you can get the demo to come back when you get back, and your dealer is going to be able to support you and demo it, even for a little bit. We have our right dealer out by us. Our right dealer will actually come out, work with you for a whole day, and demo the equipment with you. And that's even better, because you're going to be there. They're going to be with you to ask you questions and answer any questions that you got. And I think that's one good thing if you got a dealer like that, or like a dealer like our Gravely dealer that'll let us, demo a mower for a couple days. That helps you guys out in the long run if you're looking for a certain piece of equipment. I think, every mower has their pluses, every mower has their negatives to it, and talking to Colton would say, Ferris is top line. It's the only mower out there. I think it just depends on what you guys feel comfortable with,
Yeah, that's the limitations with going to Equip Expo. You don't get to try out the cut quality of the mowers. All you can do, they take the blades off. I don't even think they have blades yet. You just ride it around.
Right.
That's all you need. But if you want to really try cut quality, they can't do that for thousands and thousands of people that are at the event.
No. I mean, think about it. Even if they had the mowers with the blades on them, I think they did a couple years back, and I feel like it was just a dust fest because it was just they were just cutting the dirt, and I think that's why they took off a lot of them blades on those things or disabled the PTOs. But I feel like it's one of those things.
It'd be impossible too, because like you couldn't. There would be no grass left to cut after the first hour.
Oh no, it would be all gone. Everything would be gone unless you keep dropping it, and then it would be dirt by the end of the week. And I don't think they want that either. But I mean, if you go to Equip, I think that's one of the best things to demo stuff. Get yourself on it and just take your time and go around from mower to mower company, and then go on inside and ask the questions that you can think of. I think one of the best things when you're at Equip is to go out, check all the equipment out that you can, and anything that you're interested in. and then go demo it if you can demo it, then come back in and ask them more questions. I mean, I know it's 3 full days. If you can stay the whole 3 days, that's cool. But a lot of the stuff you can get into if you have a plan ahead of time within a couple days and be done. And, go away with either information that you need to, or go away with a great networking event, networking with somebody, or go ahead with a dealer, find out a dealer that you can talk to, or, a demo person that you can talk to that you can get the more questions afterwards. I think that's the best thing when you go to equip.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Exotic said that his boss is a Skag dealer. So that's pretty cool. If your boss is a Skag dealer and, you get to use Skag, that's pretty cool. He was just curious because he wants to go full time on his own one day. Well, congrats. Definitely, test out stuff. Like I said before, test out a bunch of equipment if you can. But if your boss is a Skag dealer and maybe when you start out, maybe he can get you a good deal on a mower right away. So that might be a good plus too. So
yeah, is he looking to buy does he not have a mower at all and looking to buy a mower? Because in that case, I would, it's hard to in this situation is unique because his boss is a Skag dealer. So do you now go and buy a used mower starting off, or is he going to give you a really good deal, price cut wise, not finance wise, price cut wise on a new mower or even a demo unit?
Right. He says he has a 52 with 1,250 hours. It depends on how long if you take care of a mower, you're going to get close to 2,000. I've seen some mowers around us that have over 2,000 on them. It depends on what you want to do. Sometimes I feel like if you can afford to put a new motor in it and replace parts on it, they can last you a long, long time. Because a lot of that stuff is thicker steel. You're gonna have to replace spindles. You're gonna have to replace the motor probably. The main thing is having an older mower like that. Sometimes with a lot of hours, you got to think about your hydraulics. You got to think about your motor. And motors can cost, if you would do it yourself, motor's going to cost you anywhere up to $2 to $3 grand to put a motor on it. And hydraulics is the same thing. You're looking at least $2 grand for each side. So there's a little bit more work into it if you want to keep an older mower running out, depending on how many hours you have on it. Sometimes it's just better to go ahead and get a new mower. It depends on what you want to do with it. I think buying a new one, and if you got a dealer like that can work with you and give you a good deal, that might work out. Or, look into a used mower.
I kind of a little different from the topic, but I watch a lot of YouTube. I think most of us kind of do. And just the coolest stuff that I like to see is people making repairs and whatnot. But I fell into a rabbit hole of people buying the Predator engine from Home Depot and installing those on zero turns. And I don't know how large that engine is or how many horsepower or whatever. But the few videos that I saw of people actually being able to do that, they've said nothing but great things about it. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how strong and how good the cut quality is, obviously with the revs per minute RPMs. But it's fascinating to see them remove that engine, put something that's completely unorthodox into like a Skag or a Toro or something like that. It's pretty interesting. If you get a chance to search that on YouTube, take a look at that.
Yeah, I will. I actually will. I feel like there is a lot of different motors out there. I'm interested in the Predators.
$899 supposedly you could get that engine for.
That's not bad, actually. That's actually not bad. I mean, I feel like it depends on the horsepower and the CCs. A lot of the engines on the bigger mowers are like 720 to 840 cc. So as long as it's in that same range, I would assume that it's going to produce just as much power as the other ones. And if that's a good price for that mower, dude,
I'm gonna look it up. Now, this is not the sale price. This is just what they have listed on the on the website.
Okay. I think it also depends on where the bolt holes are. You got to look at that stuff. I've replaced a couple engines before, and you got to look at where the bolt holes are and your shaft size to make sure that when you change everything over, it sits in the same spot. Because some engines, you know, you could be one model number off, and the shaft is probably going to be, instead of 1.25 inches, could be 1 inch. So you're going to lose that depth that you need for, you know, your blade belt connectors and all that other stuff. So you got to sometimes look at all that stuff.
All right, so 4.5 stars out of 5.
Okay, that's pretty good.
It's a Predator 22 horsepower.
So that's a normal for like a 36 to a 48. My 48's only got 23 horsepower, so that's not bad.
670 cc engine, V-twin horizontal shaft, obviously, but
right.
And there's different bolt patterns for the mounting. I don't know if you could see it on there. There's different bolt patterns, it seems, so somewhat of a universal fit. I mean, yeah, I know it's kind of off topic, but man, if you just blew an engine and your hydros are good,
it's worth doing it.
I don't know.
Might be worth putting it on.
Yeah.
Do some research, guys. If you want to change out motors, do some research. I mean, a lot of times changing out a motor or hydros or even, you know, a lot of that stuff is easy to do. It really is. Sometimes it could be time consuming. I mean, I've changed out a motor in probably, I think, 3 hours at the max is the max time I've actually done. And that's, you know, that's changing out, taking all the spindles off of it, unbolting it, pulling it out, reinstalling it. So it depends on how long it takes you. And 3 hours when you go to a dealership, it's going to cost you probably $600-700 plus the motor, you know. So is it worth the time to do it? Sometimes it is. So
yeah, good stuff. Interesting.
Yep. So that's all we got for today. I want to thank everybody that's been on, everybody that's asked questions. Thank you, guys. We want to know, where's your favorite place to eat steak? Where you like to have your steak, how you like to have your steak or your chicken parm. Also, we'd like to know exactly what size mower you enjoy using. That'd be a good one also. And then we also have a question back about, do you overprice things just to you know, don't want the job, you just overprice it just to give them a price? I'd like to know if you guys do that. So them are some good questions that we want to know your answers on. So go ahead and comment below on YouTube, or if it's on Instagram, go ahead and comment below on Instagram, because we definitely want to know these answers. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, JC, for joining us. Have a great day. Hey, and thank our sponsors, Cujo, for sponsoring us. And we'll talk to you guys all next week.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.